Hello, Simone Smith, life and ministry coach, back at it. I wanted to start with the most important video of all. Why? Why is this important? Why should you be hiring a life and ministry coach if you don't already have a really great handle on loving and welcoming the LGBTQ community? Well, I'm going to give you 3 research-based reasons why you don't even have to ask that question anymore. Time to start prepping now. Here we go. So, reason number 1. In 2014, that is 7 years ago, UCLA's William Institute School of Law published a report that 35% of LGBTQ identifying individuals live in the South, which was super surprising for me because I kind of just assumed that the West would have the handle on really affirming an LGBTQ positive places to be. But no, the South has over a third, and there are 5 regions, just so you know. And so I think it's really important. Well, actually, it is really important because obviously, after talking to several people, they were super surprised by that. Even the LGBTQ community itself doesn't understand where we are. But as Charlotte and Atlanta and Raleigh and other places in the South have grown, that number and percentage has certainly changed, and it has not gone down. So you need to start looking in your backyard and understanding that just because there's not rainbow flags and the biggest pride celebration in the world, just because they're not marching down your street, doesn't mean the community is not there. Which means you have people walking around on your sidewalks every single day who are or who aren't involved in your church. But what are you doing to make them feel welcome if you are inviting more members and you are truly understanding that every single person who calls on the name of God will be saved? Do you believe that? Or are you only welcoming people who fit your mentality of who can be saved? Again, reason number 1, 35% in the South. Okay, reason number 2. In 2021 of this year, reason number 2. In February of this year, 2021, Gallup, who you should already know, and if you don't, do your homework, released a survey that was mainly about the whole of LGBTQ identification, an individual, the number rising, things like that. But the number that was really interesting to me, and I think is important for you to know, is that 1 in 6, which equals about 16%, of Gen Z between the ages of 18 and 25, that's 5 years difference, identify as LGBTQ. So that's 16%, but that's only 5 years of that generation. And I can guarantee you the younger they are, the more likely they are to identify as LGBTQ members. And so this is a generation that is very vocal, very, they're connected, but they're connected in their individualism. And so the way that we've done church in the past is not going to work. And we will actually talk about reports about how the religious system that's been set up and how things are done is not attracting people, but that spirituality is still deeply seated in the Gen Z generation. We'll talk about that. We'll get to that. But I hope you understand how big it is in this culture, and you understand with the acceptance and things like that happening. The Gen Z babies, the babies, what is new to us now and that we're trying to get used to is something they will have always known. And so being able to speak to them where they are without feeling like you are stifling them or that you are legalistic is extremely important for your ministry to be able to understand if you want to invite them in and for them to feel like they can be fully themselves, because God accepts us fully as we are. That's reason number 2. Reason number 3. The Trevor Project, which is an amazing organization that works against preventing LGBTQ suicide among youth, released a survey in 2019. They also released one more recently, but we'll get to that in a different video. But from the 2019 survey, 40% of the respondents said that they had seriously considered suicide within the last 12 months. And that number, I hope, breaks your heart. And I don't know what else to say about that. That's almost half of the people who identify as LGBTQ seriously considering taking their lives for whatever reason. You can't help them if they're not here. We mourn suicide, but we do very little to prevent it. And so being able to, again, meet people where they are, not freak out if someone says they're non-binary or that they're trans. Freaking out is probably the worst thing you can do. So you guys, let's get to a place to where we are educated enough to know what people are going through, to know what they're looking for. Because if you don't know what they're looking for, you can't tell them how God can be the answer to that question for them. So let's learn about this community and let's see the people not as projects and not as the problem, but they are the prize. They are the prize. We were the prize for God when He sought us. I still am a prize. I know I'm a prize. But I also know that all these other people, all my friends, all these kids who have been kicked out of their houses or misunderstood or questioned and really hated in their families and probably abused because of something they didn't choose, no more. No more. So feel free to pop on over to my blog. Over the next few weeks, we'll be digging into these numbers and I'll be able to share a little bit more about them, as well as looking at the links below so you can read the description yourself for each one. It's time to get on it. It's time to get on it. And the first thing we need to do is learn. Talk to me. Bye.